All right, introduction time to the 56 Ford. This is going to be, basically, we are just making a decision change on this. I was going to build this truck for my wife to drive around town. Maybe we do some car shows together. I have an old Malibu, and so love the 50s look. Just love the 50s look, and particularly this year Ford. I love it. And this was an F350. It was a dually. It had probably a flatbed on it. When I got it, it had no bed, had the Y block in it, an old 4-speed, of course the drum brakes all the way around. Of course, being a dually, the brakes are a little harder to source. It's a little bit of an odd duck that way. But definitely, we just love the overall look of the truck. And with the engine not being able to come to life, and realized I'm gonna have to spend some serious coin to fix the Y block, I did a little penciling out and said, if I could find me a donor rig that I could put this body onto, and did some research and started looking at different vehicles. And honestly, I'll try to probably stay with Ford just to keep it in theme. But what came my way was a chassis cab C30 square body, 1980s. And the frame width was dead on the width. There's some challenges of going this way, front to rear, but the width was dead on. And this front axle was within 3/4 of an inch of the factory setup. I mean, definitely really close. And I was like, well, okay, I think we gotta get the beginnings of a plan here. Drove the truck home. Got a nice 450 Ford. Looks like it was rebuilt at some point in the past. Anyways, it pulls clean, no smoke, really nice. So now we gain independent front suspension. We have power disc brakes, hydro boost, right, with the power steering. So it's just kind of a game changer in how this thing would drive. A little challenge in trying to get this fender to center because the square body wants to be back here with the cab and the fender, and the Ford's got a lot more meat in the front. So just a little relocating there. Hey, a little provenance here. This used to be an old university yard truck, maintenance truck. And you can see someone's does some carving into the paint way back in the day. Hoods in the back, everything's fairly straight. Not a lot of rust here. So the body's kind of got a lot of patina. We're gonna try to keep that. We'll see how that goes. As we go through the process. Anyway, so C30, it was a manual transmission. I'm gonna put an automatic in it. We're gonna try the 700 R4, 30-inch column here. Still looking for what kind of steering wheel we're gonna go with. Again, we're kind of a mission pivot here. I don't know if I told you, led into that. We're gonna make this thing into a tow rig. My wife's like, she was looking at motorhomes and wanting to go see the country. I'm like, wow, maybe we could do something maybe a little more fun, which is let's build ourselves a tow rig out of this thing instead of just making it a around town cruiser. So here, you're right in the middle of the pivot. Pull the gas tank out. Obviously, if you're gonna tow a trailer and you gotta feed that engine in the front, you're gonna need something bigger. So working on that part as we talk. Still trying to level out this cab on the frame because the factory frame is straight and the Chevrolet does a little down and back up to the front suspension. So we're working out a few things there. Over here in the back, chassis cab, I don't know if I pointed that out. So this donor C30 1 ton is what we call a chassis cab. And what's different between the chassis cab and what would be on a normal C30 bed is about 8 inches wider in the rear on the axle. So this axle is 8 inches narrower, which seems to scale really well with this because obviously that's a bit narrower. This is the flatbed that came with the square body that we're going to use because the original F350 did not have a bed on it. We've already shortened this frame a foot. Purpose for that is just to get this thing in proportions properly because this cab had to go forward with the fenders. I kind of alluded to that, and when it did that, it left this huge gap between the bed and the cab, and I was like, man, I'd love to just make this whole thing shorter, So maybe I did it the hard way, but I think I'm gonna like the scale really narrow in here. So maybe one day in the future we'll get out and get a full picture. We're gonna make this bed just a tad shorter front to rear, make it closer to 8 feet from, it's it's at 9 feet. We're gonna try to make it to 8 feet, square it up. And then we're gonna take it narrower this way. We got a little bit of room here that we can give up on the width. So we're gonna take it and move this in and try to make that look better with the lines there. I don't know if I mentioned the 456 gear, so she's gonna be pretty good little tow rig, I think. And who knows, we're trying to think, we're gonna put an Airstream behind this. Honestly, I see some baby fifth wheels that I'm kind of liking. So we'll see where it goes. But this is the Vision pivot point. We're going to build it through tow rig. Stay tuned.